The Pearl of the Indian Ocean lies just a few degrees above the equator, and in addition to the island having a kaleidoscope of sights and sounds, it's also referred to as Ratnadeepa, the Island of Gems. Since the time of medieval travelers coming to its shores, and especially during the heyday of the ancient Silk Route, Chinese, Arabian, and even Europeans came to Ceylon. Not just for its spices, but also to trade in its magnificent gemstones, which were in abundance across the land. Marco Polo, the intrepid Venetian explorer, merchant, and writer, penned in his Book of Voyages that Ceylon is the finest island in the world, and had the best rubies in the world, sapphires, topazes, amethysts, and other gems. Sri Lanka is said to have over 75 varieties of gems, an astounding figure for a single geographical location. Gemming is normally carried out in small-scale gem pits, washing of gravel in streams, or large-scale mining, using excavators. The uniqueness of Sri Lankan gems are its exceptional color, clarity, and quality. So, it is no wonder that these beautiful creations of nature end up on bespoke jewelry, designed to accentuate the desirability of the rich and famous. It all begins with a jewelry designer who would create a sketch of the intended piece, either a creative concept of the jeweler or a customer's specification. During the process, it's always kept in mind the relationship of materials going to be used and how they interact with the human body. Today, computer-aided design software is also employed to be more precise and create a database of the intended piece of jewelry. The selection of the finest gemstones available in the market are used. These go into the process of making exceptional high-quality jewelry, which are embellished with precious stones. Color graphing of the gems is an important stage in determining the consistency of stones, which would embellish and adorn a piece of jewelry. The next stage is the cutting of the raw gemstone, and this requires an inordinate amount of skill and experience to get the optimum result. Though now automated machinery makes the task easier, just half a century ago, the process of cutting was a very labor-intensive, manual chore. Gemstones are often set into a variety of materials: gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. This is a process akin to micro-engineering. Molds of different types may be used for the creation of the metal sections, using materials such as jeweler's wax, rubber, and plaster. The metals must be heated, poured, and hammered into submission and shape. Saws, hammers, files, grinders, and variety of other instruments are used in the handcrafted manufacture process. There are sections too, which may be soldered or welded into place. Once the metal frames are ready, the stones are precision set by hand into the piece of jewelry. The stones are seated and meticulously secured by the hands of a master stone setter. This is the trickiest part, where the craftsman must do the setting of the precious stones without damaging them in the process. Prongs, bezels, and channels could be parts of the piece of jewelry, which helps hold the stones in place. In some cases, there is enameling, plating, or coloring of the metal using fused glass to the surface, or the treatment of the metal surface itself. The advantages are to impart a higher reflectivity, or shine to the metal surface, and in doing so, make it more resistant to scratches. This too is a very specialized technique and requires a skilled artisan. The polishing of the piece is the final stage. This is a process which smoothens and improves the luster and texture of the elements within. Polishing, which in most cases is done after the setting of gemstones, can be done either by hand or by machine. An exception might be jewelry embellished with diamonds, where the polishing is done prior, with the intention of preserving the luster reflected through the rough surface below the stone. Sri Lanka has many gem and jewelry companies, which have experience in manufacture, going back several generations. By purchasing from the source where the gemstones are mined means that you get the best deal, while being able to trace back to the origin of the gemstones and jewelry in an authentic manner. This process is regulated by the National Gem and Jewellery Authority of Sri Lanka, who estimates that there is a labour force of around 10,000 skilled artisans who are registered. The industry exports its wares, as well as manufactures for the local market and the tourism industry. Today, Sri Lanka creates magnificent pieces of jewellery, which are bespoke creations, handmade with precision, by skilled jewellery artisans, meant to delight any consumer.